All right, all right, all right. Hey guys, happy Monday. Good to see you all here. I think we are live in the group. Let me just double check. We're good, we're going. Hey everyone, welcome to 9-5 Escape. Hope you're all having a great start to the week so far. If you're here joining us, let us know. Drop it in the comments. Say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how your week is going. I'd love to hear how it's started out for you guys. I always get confused because Monday, honestly, is one of my favorite days of the week. So I always think like I'm further down the road at this point, but I do know it's only Monday. So let me know how your week started out, guys. Welcome to 9-5 Escape. If you're new to the group, welcome. If you haven't done so already, after this training video, go ahead up to the announcement post and introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you're about, and what you are looking to achieve in this group so we can best serve you. If you're a regular in the group, welcome back. Let us know you're here. Say hello. And you know that we come live in this group every Monday, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, to share what's working as we have escaped or are escaping our 9-to-5s for online entrepreneurship. So I'm excited to share with you guys an awesome live that we have today. Let me just kind of tee this up for you here. We're going to start with a little bit of training. I'm going to go a little bit high level into revival mode, how to market a legacy company in a new light. This is something that I run across quite often with people, and so I want to kind of address that for y'all. If you're working as an online entrepreneur and you promote a product line, I'm going to ask you about that later. But if you promote a product line, you may be involved with a company that has been around for a long time, right? And sometimes we hear that kind of, oh, I remember that from a long time ago. And how do we connect that and actually then move them forward to make a sale? Because a lot of times what happens is people think, oh, that's just an old company and, well, whatever. They don't have anything for me, right? And so we want to get past that. So today we're going to really be talking about how to market a legacy company in a new and fresh light. Part 2 of the training, I'm going to have an invitation for you guys, special invitation for you to join us in our programs, really see what it looks like for you to be able to lock arms and accelerate your progress here, because there's a lot of pieces involved with actually getting yourself and your business transitioned online 100%. And that can be really overwhelming, and you can sort of feeling a little bit lost in the process, to be honest with you. And my goal is to really make that super simple. So we'll have a special invitation for you as well, to see what that looks like for you guys. If you're ready to dive into this training, drop a ready down below and let me know that you guys are here, that you're ready to dive in and do a little bit of learning. So drop a ready down below and we're going to get started talking about revival mode, how to market a legacy company in a fresh light. So, one of the reasons why this came up for me is because, as some of you might already know this, but I do work as a marketing coach and help people to escape their 9-to-5s for online entrepreneurship. And that can take a lot of different forms, right? That can be someone that is also a coach. That could be somebody that creates different courses to help people achieve a certain result. That could be people that have a product line or are partnered with a company that has a product line to sell, right? And so what we want to talk about is really, the reason this came up for me is because I often see people will have this issue where they've partnered with a company, they're selling a product, and they're finding that they're running into a lot of people that have already heard of this before, right? How many of you, just put a hand emoji, drop a hand emoji in the comments if you've felt that way before, or if you've encountered that where, you might be partnered with a company, in this case, that's been around for a long time. People know of them, but maybe they just haven't been that popular that everybody has heard about them and they've really blown up, right? And so how do we get past that point where someone says, oh, I remember my mother-in-law used to buy those products 35 years ago, and she used to go pick them up on the back porch of her friend's house or whatever, right? And then that often results in the loss of a sale, or the inability to connect that to enrolling that person into a next step. So how do we get past that? This is what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. And so some of the objectives we're going to be covering is first of all, how do we re-engage clients? Because sometimes we lose clients over the long term, right? We either they've said yes to our product, and then we get nervous to follow up with them because we think we're going to scare them away. Or it's just one of those things where like you slowly just lose touch and you don't follow up, and you know that you want to, you know that you need to, but how do I do that without feeling or being super awkward? So we're going to talk about how to re-engage lost clients. And then we're also going to talk about how to present a fresh take on an old or a solid company history, right? Because a lot of times with a company that has a history, you got a really solid foundation, you have a story to tell, something that you really want to share. How do we do that in a way that's not necessarily taking away from our ability to make sales? Or how do we do that? How do we present that in a new way to somebody that might be familiar with who you or your company or your product was in the past? All right. And then the third thing that we're gonna cover here today is how to set yourself apart from the rest of the crowd, right? In this case, a lot of companies, if you're partnered with a product line, oftentimes it'll fall into a network marketing or affiliate marketing sort of a category. And how do you set yourself apart from the marketing that they've provided you, and also from the thousands of other people that are marketing that product, right? Because ultimately, a lot of times these companies, their responsibility is to sell their product, which means that the marketing material that they're going to provide to you, however beautiful it is going to be promoting their company and their product. And that means that everybody within the company, or most people within the company in general, are going to be using that same content, oftentimes the same language. If your company is provided with you with some, some language around how to speak and how to make a post online or something like that. And now all of a sudden you're seeing the same thing in 17 different places. How effective is that? And how do we actually stand apart from that while also still having a focus on that product line, right? So that's where we're going to jump into today. And if you guys have questions as we're going along, just let me know. And as we go here, feel free to just drop them in the comments, and I'll try to address those for you as well. So guys, the first topic that we're going to cover here is how to re-engage past clients. Drop a 1 down below. 1 down below if you have struggled with this at all in your business. Is that, I've reached out to somebody, they even purchased a product from me, and maybe I didn't follow up with them because I was nervous. I was going to scare them away because I felt like I convinced them in the first place. Or maybe you just kind of lost touch, right? Somebody that had set up an automatic order with your product, and now you've kind of taken a little step back, and you don't want to disrupt that, right? Oh my goodness, if I reach out to them, they might cancel, right? So drop a number 1 down in the comments if you guys have ever had this problem where you're struggling to re-engage clients that you've already sold. They've already said yes to what you have. That's an important thing to remember here. Is the best clients are the ones that have already said yes, right? So we have to remember to nurture our customers. And the fact is that most of the time people will say yes to something if they really do want that outcome that you've presented to them. So don't feel like you're going to scare somebody away. If you do, it was going to happen anyway, let's face it, right? So at least you did your best. You know that they didn't walk away because of your lack of communication. It was because they didn't see the benefit for themselves anymore. And maybe that just comes down to another conversation, which that's what you're doing here. So to re-engage your customers, obviously phone is always king. It leads to the greatest connection. We are sort of, as a human race, we're sort of disconnected from that nowadays, right? A lot of people are just, they don't even take phone calls. It's very email, text message oriented. And that's okay. But ultimately with what we do, it's a relationship sort of business, right? If you're selling a product to somebody, that's a personal transaction, and they want to get to know you. Most people buy from you because they like you, not necessarily because of your product. That probably has part of to do with it, but really comes down with wanting to work with the individual. So pick up the telephone and just call somebody. Now here's kind of where it gets awkward, and I'm gonna acknowledge that, right? If you are calling somebody that you haven't spoken to for quite a while, or has kind of fallen off the list, the best thing that you can do is be open and transparent. The worst thing that you can do is try to sort of sideline them with small talk. Okay. So, and that's actually why I think most people get nervous about taking these first steps, is because they think that, oh, I have to make this small talk. It feels ingenuine and disingenuous, and I don't want to do that. And I don't either. And there's a way around that. So the number one thing that you can do, the best thing that you can do is be upfront with that person and tell them why, it's been so long. If it's been like 2 or 3 years, say, hey, Joe, I wanted to reach out. I know it's been like 2 or 3 years since we spoke last. I want to acknowledge that and I want to apologize to you because I dropped the ball. Right. And then tell them why you're calling and just say, hey, listen, we've got some really exciting new things happening in or around whatever it is that you offer. If it's a product, we've got some exciting new things happening around that. And I've really just committed to myself to re-engage and touch base with all of my clients and see if I can still be of service to them. So this is not a sales call, but it's just a touch base. I want to see how you're doing, what you've been up to, and if there's still a place for me to be able to serve. And you go in with that, you take the pressure off of the person, first of all, right? They don't have to think the whole time, is this person going to make a pitch to me because they're just small talking me and I haven't spoken to them for 2 years, right? You're being really straightforward and you're saying, hey, I totally dropped the ball. I acknowledge that. You don't have to apologize. You're just acknowledging the fact that you dropped the ball or that you haven't followed up appropriately. And the reason for this call is not to sell you something. It's just to touch base, see how you've been doing, and see if there is a place for me to continue to serve you in this way, right? And it takes the pressure off of you for thinking that I'm going to be doing some sort of like weave around and then sneak in the back door and attack them with a pitch of some sort. It takes the pressure off of them because they don't feel like they're going to have to address something or try to get off the phone or try to, talk their way out of something. But it also re-engages that conversation. And it's really just about saying, hey, where are you at? Like we haven't spoken for 2 or 3 years. What's going on in your life? What's new? And starting there. And I guarantee you that that's going to lead to a couple of things for you. So when you're in this conversation, you should have a focus on curiosity and just being genuine with the questions that you're asking. You don't have to always ask questions that are going to drive someone towards purchase of your product. Just get to understand where they're at in life. Those things, a lot of times when we offer product lines, we have products that can fit into a lot of different areas of people's lives. So once they start talking, you'll know where to kind of step in, but make this about re-engaging. The best thing you can really do is just go through your entire client list and reach out to each one and address it like this. If it's somebody that you do follow up with often, say, hey, I want to let you know that from now on, I am going to be committed to following up with you. And I hope that's okay with you. Every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks, I'm going to give you a call and just say hello, just touch base and see how you're doing. Right. And then make that an intention for your business so that you can get on a schedule. And once you've got on that schedule and you're committed to it, then you'll never feel awkward about it again, because people are expecting to hear from you every couple of weeks or every couple of months, right? If it's twice a year, whatever. If they're expecting to hear from you, they're likely to pick up, they're likely to engage with you, and they're not going to, forget about you in between, especially if you have some sort of, newsletter communication or something like that. So phone is always king. I hope you guys get that. I know it can be a little bit intimidating at first, but honestly, start with the people that you really haven't talked to for a long time and practice there, right? Because, maybe it's a customer that hasn't purchased something in 5 years. Maybe you can bring them back, but the best thing you can do is really practice having that conversation, get comfortable with some of the questions you might ask and how you, start the call, end the call, and everything else. So that when you get to some of those people that you really feel like, man, I really have not done a good service for this person, then you're prepared for that. And you can really step up your game. So phone is king. Some other just ideas for you guys here in re-engaging lost clients is text messages can be super effective. You want to consider your client, right? If you're working with somebody who's 85 years old, doesn't have a cell phone, or maybe does but doesn't really know how to work it, you're not going to jump onto Facebook and start messaging that person or texting them. You're definitely going to pick up the phone. You might even write them a handwritten note. So consider your audience for each of these approaches, but in general, we can use these for most people. So phone is king. Text message, simple. Just shoot a quick text. Hey, Jess, how have you been? Start it. Don't dump a whole thing of text on people. One of the strategies that we teach in our inner circle program is reaching out to people with just a simple hey or hey name, because it it will engage them to respond if they're going to respond anyway, right? If you say, hey, Jess, sorry I haven't followed up. I've got some new exciting things. I really want to set up a Zoom. Here's my link to join. Are you free this day at this time? That person's never going to get back to you because it's too much information overload. As much as we love it, a lot of companies, when you're partnered with a product line, a lot of these companies have some significant differences in terms of quality or in terms of, effectiveness. But those are things that most people are not concerned about at the surface level. They might, later appreciate that, but that's not something that like dumping all of this on someone is going to be effective. So when you're getting into these messages, especially if it's a phone conversation, then you can be conversational about something. But in a text message, in an email, in a Facebook message, get to the point and don't overload people with information and links and everything else. It's a really tempting thing to do. I've done it myself. Believe me, I've been there, and it just doesn't work. I mean, you send somebody a whole thing of information with all the links they need to buy, and they simply won't use it. If you just tell them, hey, click this and do that, it's done. So keep it simple. Another method other than phone call and text message is Facebook message, or also birthdays. On Facebook, you can actually see whose birthday is coming up. If you haven't engaged with somebody recently, go ahead and just wish them a happy birthday. Start that conversation. How you been? What you got planned for the year, whatever. Birthdays are really an effective way to re-engage people on social media. So this is just a couple of ways that you can start getting people back into action within your organizations as clients, because it can be kind of intimidating to start re-engaging people when you haven't spoken to them a while. But again, the number one key is to be transparent and straightforward with them, and acknowledge that you dropped the ball, and let them know what your plan is for moving forward, right? If you just said, hey, I wanted to touch base, I dropped the ball, sorry about that, and do you want to buy anything? And then you don't continue to follow up or don't continue that process, then it's going to be super ineffective. You're going to lose people that way. So you want to be able to, let them know like, hey, from now on, is it cool with you if I just give you a call every 6 months and check in, see how you're doing? And, or, what's a good, timeline for them? Every 2 months, every 3 months, it depends on the client, right? So set that future pace for them so that they understand that you're intending to reach out, and then make a reminder in your CRM so that you actually do it, because that's going to help you get away from being awkward about this in the future. All right, so we've covered how to re-engage lost clients. Next, we're going to how to present a fresh take on a solid company history. So you guys are ready to jump into that. Drop a 2 in the comments. Let me know that you're ready to jump into how to present a fresh take on a legacy company. I've got an interesting story around this because as I mentioned before, not only do I marketing and coaching, but I also run a network marketing organization. My family actually has been involved with that same company for over 35 years. And so really it grew up, within that industry, understanding it and what it involves and what it takes to be successful. But also, understanding the history of this particular company. A lot of companies in our industry have been around for a very long time, right? You would think that that's a really good thing. And everybody would want to buy from, the number one company. But the fact is that people love new opportunities nowadays. And that's really what it's about. And so how do we take something that has such a solid history, a foundation, a tremendous product with everything, that people would really be looking for behind it? How do we take that and put a new spin on it so that it is a fresh and new opportunity for somebody, so that it does look like something that they want to take advantage of? So if you guys have been there with me here and really struggling on how do I take this dinosaur and turn it into something that's really present today, let me know down below, because I think this is something that more people struggle with than we might expect in our industry. So how do we actually do that? Well, first of all, we want to have a focus, right? For this case, let's say we're talking about network marketing. Now, network marketing is half network, half marketing. And the big piece of it is actually marketing. We're not in sales. We're actually in marketing. If we can market correctly and properly, you won't be making sales. You won't feel like you're making sales. And you'll be able to address that I'm not a salesperson objective much easier. And the best way to do that is to understand first and learn how to really market yourself. And for this scenario, we're talking about how to market yourself online, because that is where this business is going. So if you're in network marketing and you haven't transitioned your business online yet, then this is going to be super pertinent for you as well, because that's really the trajectory that we're taking. The traditional methods for growing, specifically in network marketing, have fundamentally changed. And so we have to learn, how do we market ourselves instead of the company? And that's a tough pill to swallow sometimes. Let's say tough vitamin to swallow talking about network marketing. But that's a tough pill to swallow, right? And so, a lot of us have a lot of pride in our company and the values that they stand for, and the procedures and processes that they follow to make such a good product. But ultimately, people always tell you that people buy from people that they like, and it doesn't really have a lot to do with the product. I've seen this, just firsthand in my own experiences of times when the product outwon the other product, 10 times over. But it wasn't about that to the person. It was actually about the relationship with the person that was providing it. So market yourself and not the company. You have to be excited about both of those things, though, right? So here's an example that I often give is, I know somebody where I used to do face-to-face networking like crazy before I transitioned my business fully online. And I knew somebody that was in the insurance sales industry. Does anybody know somebody in the insurance sales? And this person would always talk about the company that they represented, and how that company had the best discounts and the best programs and the best this and the best that, right? And the problem was that they built up a great clientele and had a successful business running, but they decided to, for whatever reason, to move companies, go to a different company. And along with that, that person was still networking in the same channels that they were networking before. So everybody knew them as that company guy before. And so when he switched companies and started marketing for a totally different brand, and started saying that was actually the best brand, and they had the best this and that, it was hard to overcome the past 3 or 4 years of him talking about one specific company and how that was the best. Now, my point is that if he had marketed himself as the #1 insurance agent, regardless of the company that he was partnered with, because of what he provides for his clients, 24/7 service, the best prices that he can, put together based on all of your needs and all of those different metrics that are really important in insurance, if he had marketed himself on that, then it wouldn't matter to his customers if he switched companies, because they would know that he's the expert. He's the one that knows that this is where my clients need to be, because this is, in their best interest. And so that person ended up leaving the networking completely, because they couldn't translate that message anymore. And so what's my point here is, you market yourself so that if your company ever goes away, you're still known for what that value is that you provide. You can be known as the health expert and provide value along with the products that your company offers. But if that company goes away, still be known as the health expert that can still support their clients with a different product line that you choose that's appropriate for them, right? And so how do we start effectively marketing ourselves? When our companies are giving us so much marketing material, it gets really confusing. It's tempting to this looks like a beautiful stock photo with everything, my product, my company name. Like, why wouldn't I use that? But ultimately, people don't come online to buy. They do buy online on social media. They do come on social media to buy. They do buy on social media, but they don't come on social media necessarily with the intention of buying something. And so if you're putting out photos or marketing that looks like an advertisement, it's going to be perceived as an advertisement to somebody. If you put a photo of yourself smiling, not with a product, just if you're smiling and then a good message above it, that will convert 10 times over, guaranteed. So talk about some of the things that you can do to present a fresh take is also like when you're going back and reaching out to those clients that have fallen off over time. Talk to them about how excited you are about what the future holds for the company, right? Can't believe all of these changes that they've made for a company that's so old. It's like we're a startup. And, just the capabilities with, being able to run your business from an app and having all the best CRM systems available to be able to manage our businesses, and everything is just taken care of for us. You talk about what excitement you have around the future of a legacy company, because the presumption is that legacy companies have kind of worn out their welcome, or they've done their thing and there's nothing left for them. And that's not always the case. If you're in a company that's really made some strides to modernize itself, then talk about why that's exciting. Don't make it about the product or the new this or new that. Talk about the excitement you have around the future, because we're talking about future pacing is really an effective method of getting people to imagine what it could look like for them. Okay, so don't just say that you're excited, like be excited about it, because that will come through as well. People can see if you're not excited to be doing what you're doing. If I was just standing here and I was like drab and really slow and I, just talking like this, then nobody would listen to what I have to say. And you would know that I'm not passionate about what I do. But because I show up here every Monday, and sometimes I'm talking to myself, other times talking to a lot of people, I'm just as excited no matter what, because I know that what I do makes a difference. And I know that what I do will empower people to change their lives. And so be excited about what you have to offer. Don't just say that you're excited or talk about how exciting it is. Really, really be genuinely excited. Another thing that you can do to really freshen up this legacy company is talk about the lifestyle that comes with it. A lot of us join into network marketing or affiliate marketing companies because of the lifestyle that we perceive, right? We say, wow, we can have time freedom, financial freedom, make an impact in people's lives, be able to work anytime, anywhere, right? That's a lifestyle a lot of people desire. So talk about some of those things, or show yourself living that lifestyle, presenting that to others so that they can really start to see what that might look like for them, right? Don't say, oh, it's so great because of this, but sort of let people imagine what it would be like for them if they were to, get in on a new opportunity. So future pacing is really important. It's just really getting people's mindsets into what's available for them before they can really see it for themselves. And, the last thing I want to say around this is don't be stuck in the past. This is really tough because companies have a ways of doing things, and sometimes they make changes, and organizational leaders, maybe our, uplines or whatever, you want to call them, have traditional ways of doing things, and they might even discourage you from growing your business in one way or the other. My advice to you is to follow your heart, of course, take advice from people that have been there before, but also use that to adapt it to, 2021, because, the old model of showing up face to face, picking up products in the back porch during dinner, doing the house parties and stuff, it's just not the way of the future. It's not a sustainable way to grow your business. And you want your team, your leaders, to be able to understand how they can scale online as well, because that's where you can find people. The number one complaint in network marketing is I don't have anybody else to talk to. And there's millions of people on social media. There's really no excuse. And so don't be stuck in the past, embrace the past, and then take the advice of your elders and use that to implement it into a sort of a 2021 model for yourself. And so I want to move on here, guys. If you guys are ready for the third point, just drop a 3 down below. And we're going to jump into how to set yourself apart from the rest of the crowd that is using the same marketing material as you. So just drop a 3 down below if you guys are ready to address that. Just want to check, make sure that we don't have any questions in the comments here. And then we're going to jump into that last piece. Let's see here. Okay, cool. I'm not going to any questions. Good. Looks like you guys are with me though. So awesome. All right, ready to go. Karina, Gia. All right, let's do it. So number 3, third point here I really want to make is really how to set yourself apart from the crowd, right? If you're in a company that provides you with marketing, hey, that's awesome. That's a great thing. And they're probably doing their best to give you some nice marketing, but a lot of companies will provide you with verbiage to use. They'll provide you with photos to use. And all of a sudden they'll drop that release. And the next day you'll see, like 70 other posts that are exactly the same as yours. Problem with it is Facebook really doesn't like that. So they won't promote all those posts. And so you'll be seeing it all over because those are people that you're really closely connected with on Facebook. But other than that, your audience isn't really going to see a lot of it because it's copy paste text. Facebook knows if you're copying and pasting text. They want to know that you've typed something original. They know when it's something is like word for word the same as something else that's been posted. These guys are really smart, like they've figured this out. So the best thing you can do is either take what your company has suggested and spin that yourself and go back to that marketing piece of how do I market myself versus the company name, and try to take what they've done and use it strategically, because a lot of times they've hired, marketers that are very successful. They know really what they're doing, but in a different way, a different sense. They're marketing to a different audience than you are really. Even though it might not seem that way. So, so you want to be able to either try to spin that in your own way, or just take the idea and the concept and say, how can I kind of do something different along the same lines? They've provided me with this marketing, with this sort of idea, this sort of picture. How can I recreate that with my own, personality without necessarily, what I really just discourage. I discourage it so much. I don't have any products around me. So what I really discourage is doing the, posting the photo with the product sort of thing, because it's nobody does, like, you don't do that with other things in life. So why do it with your product? Like, I don't pose here with, the case to my glasses and promote them. So it's obvious what you're doing is promoting. What we want to be doing is providing value around an outcome that somebody wants by using the product that you have. And if you can do that effectively, again, you're not going to be in that making sales piece. So really the idea is going back to that marketing yourself idea. That's the number one way to separate yourself from the crowd. The company might always have good ideas. So again, use those to kind of spin them in your direction, see what will work, test things, because, ultimately you want to keep testing. If you're doing the same thing over and over on Facebook, posting, an inspirational quote on this day and this on that day, and that's not really connecting for you, or you're not having conversations around your product because of that, then you've got to start testing some other things, because being consistent on social media is different than being effective. Plain and simple. I see people that post, 3 times a day, every single day without fail, and get lots and lots of comments. But if those comments are not directed towards a specific product or enrollment into something else, it's not going to connect. I know somebody that did an experiment actually on this, and they posted a video that was really just an eye-catching video. It's kind of an extreme sport type of thing, and it caught a lot of attention. It had like hundreds of shares, it had hundreds of comments, thousands of likes, and this was all from this person's personal page. And he went through the entire list, reached out to every single person. Not a single one of those things turned into a lead for his business, because his business had nothing to do with the video that he posted. So don't get caught up in what other people are getting as results. Even if you see them posting your company marketing and they're getting lots of comments, I encourage you to go through and look at who those comments are coming from. Oftentimes it'll be other people within their company. And so don't get distracted by that and say, man, everybody's getting so many results and I'm not getting them. Don't get distracted. The number of comments, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's the point and how pointed your message is and who it's speaking to. Will it connect or not? And so everything that you post should be, I have it up on my board actually here. What is the outcome I want from X? Because every time you make a post, you should ask yourself first, what is the outcome I want from this? Is there a point to this post, or am I asking about air fryers? That's my go-to example, the air fryer post. I guess if you sell health food, the air fryer thing could actually be an effective method, but I just like it because I see it all the time. People asking about air fryers, and they get like 300 comments. But the point is, if you're selling, sneakers or something, then getting 300 comments on an air fryer post isn't going to help you generate business. And so we want to be able to set ourselves apart, but in a way that still makes sense. Okay. So long story here, short, but your company is giving you marketing material that speaks directly to a specific product and screams it out there. This is the company name. This is the product. The reason why that's not as effective for us is because people can then go and make their own decision. They can look up the company name, they can look up the product, they can go buy it from somebody else without ever having a conversation with you. All right, that's why we don't post links anywhere in our posts or in comments, because we don't want people just to go and do their own research. We want to have a conversation, uncover what it is they need. How can we help them? And so, that's going to be a lot more effective for you, is be able to take the marketing ideas and turn them into something that's really you, that speaks to somebody specifically about an outcome that they are looking for, or something like that. All right, so that kind of wraps up our first portion here of really how to re-engage your lost clients, how to present a fresh take on a legacy company, and also how to sort of separate yourself from all of the other marketing that your company has provided that everybody else is using. And so if you guys got value out of this so far, just drop a value below. I want to know that this is connecting with you guys, it's making sense, and that you'll be able to use this, implement this into your business right away so that you can start getting results from it, because that's really important. So just drop a value below if you got value from this call. So we're gonna move into part 2 here, guys. As I mentioned before, I do have an invitation for some of you that are watching right now to really lock arms in this journey, right? It's one thing to have a concept or a product line, and it's another thing to have that set up in a way that creates predictable income for you and is scalable for your business, as well as your organization. So if you're a coach or you're a course creator, you might be an organizational leader. This is a way for you to be able to take a step-by-step approach to scaling your business online. And we walk with you hand in hand through that so that you can ask questions and get them answered right away and take that action, get that momentum going so that you can see results in your business. So if that's something that you would like to take a look at for yourself or for your business, then drop an "I'm in" the comments below, and I'll reach out to you. We'll just jump on a call for 15 minutes or so and see what that looks like. It's not a sales call. This is a call to see whether or not we can even help with where you're at right now in your business and where you want to go, right? This is a specific strategy that works really, really well for certain types of businesses and certain types of approaches, and not as well for others. And so this call is really to make sure that what we're talking about makes sense for you and that you're a good fit for that. But if you want to really see what it looks like for you and for your business to really take this at an accelerated rate, step by step, from your sort of concept, getting clarity, and creating your ecosystem, then drop an "I'm in" below, and I'll reach out to you guys for a 15-minute call. We'll see if it makes sense to speak further about that. Super excited that you guys were all here today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys got value out of this call. As you know, we come live in this group every Monday at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. I need to slow down my speaking. If anybody has some suggestions on how to slow it down, let me know. But as you guys know, we are in this group every Monday, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, sharing what's working for us as we have escaped or escaping our 9-to-5s for online entrepreneurship. Anything that you guys would love to see in the future, let me know. Drop it in the comments or reach out to me via Messenger. I really want to know what you need in order to take the next step forward so that you can escape your 9-to-5 as well. There is a process, there is a system, but it takes a commitment, it takes time, and it takes really sometimes that hand holding. So I hope you guys got value out of this, and I will catch you guys on the next live next Monday. Have a great week, guys. Go out there and crush the week, leaders. I'll see you next one. Cheers.